Hey guys, what is up? David here. Welcome to the first video on my YouTube channel where I'll be painting every single Warhammer Spearhead. I have a couple of Spearheads you can see on the shelves behind me, and I have some more shelves over to the left of me. I have several Warhammer Spearheads. I'm planning on getting more, and my backlog is just growing and growing and growing. So I'm planning to start painting them. So, and also make content out of it. So today we're going to be painting Warhammer Cities of Sigmar. So that's the first Spearhead I want to paint. I'll put up a vote in the comment section after, so we can decide what I paint next. Without further ado, let's get into it. So the Fusil platoon contains 24 Citadel miniatures. That includes a Fusil Major on an Ogre Warhulk, 1 squad of Wild Corpse Hunters, 1 squad of Free Guild Fusiliers, and 1 Alchemite Warforger. Now, I recently just finished painting my Celestial Huracanum right here, that I'll show up in detail a little bit more. I went for more blues and yellows, because that's kind of the theme I want to go for the army, because red's very easy to paint, I think. I've painted Adeptus Mechanicus, I've painted Sororitas, so I painted a lot of red. So I want to try something else. I wanted to go for little blues and yellows. So yeah, I'm excited to get it out. And I think I'm going to start with the Fusil Major on Ogre Warhulk. Now, I've already primed this guy a couple of weeks ago because I was planning to get this video out earlier. I've unglued his shield, and I've unglued the Fusil Major sitting on top of him. And I think I'm going to start with the shield. I was going to go in a nice yellow base coat for the wood, and then some metallic details. So without further ado, let's hop into the time lapse. I start with a dark yellow to cover the whole shield, and then I add a slightly brighter yellow up on the raised edges of the wood to give it a highlight. I do the same with Flashgit's yellow for an even brighter highlight. Finally, to finish off the wood, I apply some contrast skeleton horror so that it gets in all the cracks and brings out all the details. Then, it's onto the trim and some Iron Warriors. I then grab some purple and put it over where I painted with Iron Warriors to give the steel its used and old worn aesthetic. That's the shield done. I then grab some more yellow and proceed with the same steps on the Ogre Warhulk. Instead of Skeleton Horn, however, I use Nuclear Sunrise by Army Painter. Alright guys, that is the Fusil Major done. I'm going to do the terrain and the transfer sheets at the end along with all the other units. Because it's going to be like annoying having to just do one transfer sheet, one little thing. So yeah, I think I'm going to do the Free Guild Fusiliers now. So let's hop into the time lapse. That is the Free Guild Fusiliers done. Alright, now that all the Free Guild Fusiliers are done, I have them all right here, unglued from their bases. I'll do their bases first, right now, because I want to do something different for the Alchemite Warforger and the Wild Corpse Hunters. So without further ado, let me show you the process. I start by applying some clear glue, and then I mix it around with a paintbrush to make sure it covers the whole base. The next thing that I do is I sprinkle some grass all over the bases. I unfortunately don't have a static grass applicator because any cheap ones I bought didn't work, so my grass is going to be a little flat. I make sure to seal the grass with some watered down white glue, and then I leave that to dry overnight. Once these are dry and ready, I'm going to add some darker green to contrast with the bright grass.
I then apply some grass tufts and white flowers to bring out the bases even more. And finally, I paint the rims black. It's time for the transfer sheets. I'll cut out the symbol that I want, then I wet it so that I can easily slide it off and apply it later. Before applying, I apply some art coat over the area so that the transfer sheet adheres to it properly. Here comes the hard part, maneuvering this thing so that it doesn't rip or slip off or get stuck on my brush around the area that I want it. These things usually get stuck on my fingers, so it's kind of annoying for me to do personally. Once the fusil major is done, I then proceed to do the same thing with all 10 models of the fusiliers.
Alright, now that the Free Guild Major and the Fusiliers are all ready and done, I'm going to move on to the Wild Corpse Hunters. I'm going to start painting the dogs first, I think, because I don't know, they're kind of cute. And recently, these guys actually moved to an Armies of Renown. So for people who don't know, within the actual physical tabletop game of Warhammer, these guys can basically be taken by any of the good guys into their army. So I don't want to make them fully yellow because, you know, they can go to different places, different factions, and battle it out there. So I'm going to try and go in for something neutral. To find a cool color scheme, I'm actually going to use this book right here. I don't really know what it's called in English, but it has a bunch of different color palettes for me to use, and I'll show you which one I picked out right now. I picked out this color right here because, after all, they are hunters, and they're going to be kind of camouflaged in the forest. So I think a bit of yellow to still represent my faction, and some brown and some dark gray, I think would look really cool. So let's get right into it.
So I googled that these dogs are actually supposed to represent trailhounds, so we'll try and mimic how they look by painting them white as a base, and then adding black and brown spots all over their bodies. I then moved on to the crossbowmen, starting with some yellow. I finished the base colors with some metal for the helmet, and before I start on the highlights, I'll do the same for the rest of the figures. These are done, I can finally start moving on to the highlights. That is the Wild Corpse Hunters done. Up next, we have the Alchemite Warforger. I'm going to do something different with this guy, so for him, we'll have to pull out my trusty airbrush. Start with Encarmine Red as the base stone for my red. After cleaning my brush in the airbrush cleaner, I'm going to go in with some orange as a highlight. Then, it's time for the blues as a contrast against the red. touches and added some brighter colors off camera. Time for the terrain, and I'm going to use some technical Sterling Mud and Agrelin Badland. Terrain is done, I'm going to move on and paint the black trims of every model. After I'm finished with that, I'm going to start placing the grass to make the terrain look better.
Alright guys, and that's it for the Cities of Sigmar Spearhead. It's all painted, I had a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed. I like painting the different colors, you know. It's nice to have a contrast of the green and the brown. Before we get into the beauty shots, I just want to say I'm going to put down a vote into the comments of the 3 next Spearheads that you guys can vote for me to paint. It'll be just comment or just like it, and then I'll give it like a 3-day window. Whichever comment has the most likes, I'll paint that one. So without further ado, let's get into the beauty shots.